Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about if you can take step 2 before your step 1 exam. Hi, I'm Kartik Goswami. I'm a 4th year MD student. I'm applying to internal medicine for my residency, currently doing interviews at this moment. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm happy to answer. But anyways, today we're going to talk about if you can take your step 2 exam before your step 1. And I know this might sound pretty crazy to some of you, but it's actually a common question, especially for IMG people outside of the country that are applying in, and for some schools in America right now. A lot of medical schools, maybe some, are changing their medical school education from instead of 2 years of preclinical to 1 year preclinical and 3 years of clinical. So for those schools, this is also a question that always comes up. So without further ado, let's get into it. So who is this for? Well, let's break it down. What is step 2 and what is step 1? So step 1 is going to be your fundamental test. It's going to be the fundamental sciences, the basic sciences, how the medicines work, how the pathology works, the basics of medicine. It's what you normally learn in your first 2 years of US med schools. Now some schools are in 1 year, but it's usually the fundamental. If you're an IMG, the step 1 exam is the fundamentals. You may have learned most of these in your school, but some of these may not have been taught to you, and that's exactly why step 1 becomes a harder challenge. While step 2 is more of a encompassing test. What do I mean by that? I mean that step 2 is more of a clinical test, a real world test. It tests your clinical knowledge. If you're going to go see a patient, what's the next best step with this problem? So and so. This patient has heart failure. What drugs would you give next? But after that drug, let's say they don't improve, what do you do next? It's that type of real world thinking that's pretty common across the globe. It's not the fundamentals of this that they want to test these fundamentals, not those. It's the real world scenarios, and it's much easier to do if you already had clinical experience. So hopefully that clarifies a little bit. So let's say you've done your clinicals, you've done them as an IMG, or you're in the US, you're in your second year, you're doing your clinicals. If you're doing your clinicals, you're probably gonna have a head start for step 2. It just works like that. Mind's gonna be like, okay, I know what to do next. Here's the next best step. Here's your treatments. Here's what we should do. And that's the best way to go forward. And that's gonna help you for your step 2 exam. So for IMGs, this is probably a no-brainer if you completed your medical school. If you're done with medical school, you're in your intern year, and you're like, okay, which one should I take first? Step 2 is probably gonna be easier for you to take since you're actually doing that on a daily basis. Now, so that's what I recommend for IMGs. If you completed your schooling, probably step 2 is the best way to go. But let's say you're in America right now, you're in a traditional schooling system. 2 years of pre-clin, 2 years of clin. The first 2 years of pre-clin are enough time for you to learn step 1 stuff. But if you're in the new system of 1 year pre-clin, 3 years clin, and you're in your second year med school, and you're like, I'm doing my clinicals, should I go back and do what I learned first year, or should I go do what I'm already learning now? I would probably recommend you take your step 2 end of your second year, because you're doing that material right now. It's going to be fresh in your head. Here's another thing. Step 2 is the one that matters most. It's the scored one. It's the one that'll decide where you go for residency. It's the one that's going to be best for you. So if you have the best advantage for it right now, you should take it right now. And for those of you that I just told, take step 2 before step 1, take your step 1 after. Take your step 1 when you have time. You take your step 2, you can go back and learn the fundamentals. I actually know a lot of people within my family that have done step 2 first over step 1. So it's not uncommon. It's actually a thing that is done. You got to look at your situation. Again, this video is for IMGs or the people in the new system of US med schools, the traditional way in US med schools. This isn't applied to you guys. Step 1, then step 2 for you guys. But for those IMGs outside in the new way of med school here, I think step 2 is the best way to go. It's got what you're going to do best at. Currently, you're learning those clinical things. You're going to be best for that. And then your fundamentals and basic sciences, you can go back and learn. Now, those things, you only learn them for the test. It really doesn't stick with you too well in the real world because, just fundamentals. But again, that's what I would advise. If you have any questions, any concerns, you have anything about topics, leave comments below. You can email me at thedrjourney21@gmail.com. If you're studying for step 1, step 2, or have any other questions or problems, go visit thedrjourney.com. Links up here. You can go to that website. We have a lot of free resources. And if you're watching this and taking step 1 anytime soon, we have a super high yield seminar going on December 7th through December 8th. Go sign up on the website. We're here to help for you guys. I'm here to make sure that you guys ace your exams, don't have as trouble as we did, and we want to make sure everyone can be doctors so we can go help save and protect this world. So stay happy and stay healthy, everyone. Bye-bye.